We have technically moved into our new house, but that is the beginning, not the end of this house buying journey. Let's get into the house updates. And hi, I'm Bo.
And I'm Win.
We just bought a multifamily home. We are trying to find financial stability for ourselves and his 3 kids, doing that one paycheck at a time. And this part is the house. So, as I said, we are technically moved in. We're still working on it.
Technically.
Yes. So, we are hobbling along, still don't know where a lot of our stuff is. And as we are unpacking, we're figuring out that we don't know where to put stuff because this place is set up a lot differently than our old place. So some of the storage solutions that we were using don't work.
And that's okay, but it is an adjustment.
Yes. And we have more storage in other ways. So it's kind of, we're trying to figure out how this is going to work exactly, which is very chaotic, very confusing. And y'all, you've moved before. You know what it's like. But that is not the most important part. Right now, we're focused on not only moving in, but getting to our first mortgage payment. That is where the financial part comes in. So our first mortgage payment is due July 1st. Mm-hmm. And that will be a little over $4,000, which is a lot. And also, we are more than likely going to have to pay that entire amount up front, even though we currently do have a tenant upstairs.
Right. So part of what our journey has always been has been keeping track of things. And when she says pay up front, is it too soon to?
Nope. That literally takes us to the CHA.
Great. So our tenant works through the CHA,
which is Chicago Housing Authority.
Mm-hmm. And so they have a housing voucher for a big old chunk of the rent. And that's fine and dandy. There's literally no problem with that, except that as we take on the house, we have to transition our standing with the CHA and make sure that they have properly documented us as the new owners. A process which we have just found out takes between 45 to 60 days.
Which means that we're not going to get the full rent from them until that time frame is over, which actually puts us at the point where we'll probably have to pay the entire mortgage by ourselves, even though we do have a tenant who pays rent. So the if that wasn't 100% clear, the tenant we have currently, who is upstairs from us, they have subsidized housing, which means the government pays part of their rent. It's not the entirety, but it is part of it. It's a large part of it. She still has to pay her portion, even though the paperwork isn't complete yet. She still has to pay her portion on June 1st and July 1st, but we're not going to see the majority of the rent until after the paperwork is complete. Then once we get it, we will get back pay. So we will get paid back up until June 1st, which is when the next rent payment is due. So we won't be missing any money, but it will be delayed. And that's something where if you're buying a property that has tenants, you might want to keep in mind is that if you get tenants that have subsidized housing, the government does not work very fast. And you need to be prepared to pay up front for some of these things, which is one of the reasons why you need to have a lot of money saved to buy a house. The only reason why we can technically afford to buy this house right now is because we didn't have to put any money down on the loan because we have a VA loan. That's the only reason why. Otherwise, we would not be able to afford 20% down payment on top of all the renovations and repairs, on top of possibly missing out on rent for a month or two. That's a big concern if you are not made of money, if you have a regular job like we do. So that's something to keep in mind.
And that leads us to the next point, which is essentially about intentionally managing both expectations and funds.
Prioritizing contractors.
That part.
So when you have all these repairs and renovations that you need to make, but you don't have all the money for all of them up front, you have to think about what's most important now and what you can afford now.
In my mind, it goes safety is first priority, then comfort, then what? I don't want to say luxury, but the things you'd like, even if you don't need them necessarily. So those are very low priorities. The first thing we have to do is make sure that anything that had been missed by the previous owner is handled now in terms of safety.
Yes. Part of that is actually the CHA, because there are certain, there are inspections that have to be done pretty regularly from the housing authority. They do inspections on the properties to make sure that everything is up to code in the unit. So we have to stay on top of maintenance for that more than for the other units, because if they fail inspections, then they might get taken out of the program, or the unit will be taken out of the program, and then we won't get the rent from the tenant. So that's an important consideration in prioritizing contractors, because we need to pass all the inspections for the government so that we get our rent. But also, there are certain things that are very important, like there's water damage in the basement. So that has to be handled. And because of that water damage, there are a lot of side expenses. And also because of the key situation where some of the locks don't work properly, and some of the locks are very old, and they're like not necessarily reliable. Like you have to like fiddle with them a lot, and sometimes they don't catch correctly. Like that's a safety hazard. Like that's a problem. So yes, it'd be nice to have fewer keys, because the key ring that I have, if you haven't seen
Magical janitor.
Yes, if you haven't been seeing our videos, I forgot which video it is, but recently I did show the key ring. It's ridiculous. There's like 30 keys on the key ring. So yes, we would like to have fewer keys, but also it's a hazard to have people struggling to get out of their units, because there are security doors in the back of every unit. Those security doors, you have to use a key to get out of them. And that's also a fire hazard. Like you shouldn't need a key to get out of your unit. You should need a key to get in it, but not to get out of it. There's a whole lot going on.
I can't resist. I just gotta show this.
Oh my goodness, just show all of them, Lynn. I love you so much.
It's a lot.
Yes, there are a lot of keys. And for one building, this is too many. This is too many keys, y'all. This is too many keys. Considering there are only 3 units in this building, why do we have so many keys? It's ridiculous. It's absolutely ridiculous. And also, why are there locks that are older than I am? I mean, we're talking decades older than I am. It's not great.
It's not what we like.
No. And like one of the doorknobs is like duct taped to it's a problem. So long story short, there are some contractors that we just can't wait on. We can't wait. And for some of those, that means payment plans. For some of those, we have to pay them up front. So like plumber, we're we're probably going to be Zelling. So that's going to have to be cash, essentially. Some things have payment plans, some things I can use a credit card for. But you really have to be prepared to spend all this money. Yeah. And then once you have your contractors prioritized and we're, spending all this money, some of which we don't have, then we come to shopping, which is also necessary when you move.
Before we do that, I just want to point something out. If you've been following us for a while, you know that we are huge proponents of sinking funds and saving up for something and then paying for it all at once. That said, for some of these, there are options for 12 months zero interest financing. And while we technically have enough to pay this cost or that cost off right away, if we have the option, if we have that money set aside, like earmarked already, it can be in our savings account for the next 12 months while we slowly pay towards that, and we can be earning a little bit of interest on it. So that's one strategy that can work for some people, but it does require you to be real intentional, and you absolutely cannot spend that money on anything else. Because once that interest does kick in, it's bad. It's real bad.
Yes. Speaking of which, the waterproofers that we have that we're planning to have waterproof our basement, the cost for them is about $27,000.
Which is wild.
Yes. So they gave us two choices. We could either choose 12-month zero interest financing, and then after the 12 months, it goes up to 25%. Or we could do 10 years at 10%. But that 10% would start from month one. So those were kind of our two choices. We went with the 12-month 0% financing because Wynn's twin sister is supposed to be giving us a chunk of money towards the house. Supposed to be. She has been having trouble accessing that money because she was selling her condo where she moved from. So I don't know when we're going to see that money, but I'm really hoping it's going to be within 12 months, because if it's not, we're in trouble. Mm-hmm. But in any case, onward to shopping. So we are going to have to buy several things throughout this moving in process. And some of that can be done with like low interest debt. Some of it needs to be just paid cash. I am not a fan of how quickly the shopping is adding up. But there are several things that we have to get. So like we have to get a ceiling fan for the upstairs tenant, because their ceiling fan is very wobbly and that's dangerous.
It's not cute.
Yeah. We have to get a new fridge for that unit as well. We have to get a new washer and dryer for ourselves for the basement. And a new fridge and stove for ourselves as well. So, that's going to be a lot of money, y'all. That's going to be a lot of money. And I'm not trying to spend that money up front. So, we are probably going to apply for a Home Depot credit card so that we can get 12-month financing on that as well. Or I think they do 6-month 0% financing. So, yo. By the end of the summer, we're going to do a new debt confession, essentially, and it's going to be a lot.
That said, a big part of why we are introducing the house update as a thing is, this is a big part of our financial journey. So that's number one, this big part of our financial journey. But two, we did all the savings that we're going to do for this year. So we're not saving over the summer. We are surviving. And this is a big part of that. So we want to bring you along for that journey.
Yes. So for the length of the summer, essentially from this point until Wynn's first paycheck of the new school year, we're going to be doing house updates on Thursdays. Because this is a lot. This is a lot, and it's not all things that we necessarily want to talk about during our like transaction videos. Because it's not necessarily just transactions. It's also about kind of our mindset and what we're thinking and how we're prioritizing things. In case you want to go down the same or similar road, just learn from our mistakes, learn from our experiences.
Some of it's going to be goals met. Some of it's going to be goalposts moved. Hopefully not too much. There might even be some pivots. There certainly have been so far. But like always, we document, we keep track, we're intentional because budget beats broke every time.
And never forget that you too deserve financial stability. And I hope you have a great day on purpose. Bye.